And that is how we get down. What's good, everybody? Welcome in to Coaching Company here live on a Tuesday. I'll just start off by saying hopefully we get through today. Again, we're on the road in downtown Charlotte, North Carolina, 3 days away from PFL World Tournament night number 2. If you guys are just hanging out on Friday night and you want to tune in to ESPN, we will be there. I'll be doing the pre-show and the post-show. By the way, yesterday, 5 big shows. The biggest day we've ever had at both of our brands. If you missed any of the shows, Coach and Bro on demand at our BTT YouTube page. And The Last Word last night. I had a lot of fun. Gabby, Big Tommy. You can catch that show on demand on our BTT YouTube page. One other ask today. We were getting very, very close on our Coaching Company YouTube page to being able to add the NFL content we want to add starting September 4th. So if you're not subscribed to that, even if you don't watch the channel, go hit that subscribe button for us. Support the brand so we need 111 to get to that next step that we need to get to. Now, yesterday, a really solid day. I told you we would start the week off really, really well. And it's nice 5-2 day. And DG coming through. And, of course, our resident cash stacker, Big Chuck, coming through strong. 2-0 with his soccer plays, and I'll deal with Raphael. 0-1 Dodgers. Couldn't do anything on the diamond last night. And my man Mikey P, 1-4-2. All right, I need help today, clearly. So, even in a hotel as nice as this one, do you guys hear that? My company is ready to come in. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it's time to beat the books.
All right. Well.
All right. I believe that we are on. I think so. I hope so. Somebody tell me that we are on. Yes. Oh, yes.
Nope, he's not on.
Love live TV.
It's absolutely not
on.
There he is. Nope, now he's back.
Oh.
Backwards Kank is a solid profile pick for the record.
Solid profile pick. Zeno, good morning, sir. Well, we lost one, but we still got 4 of us. Great little crew here this morning. Zeno, how you doing, man? Good morning.
Yeah, leave no man behind, apparently, unless it's coach. And we'll just leave him wherever he is. So good to be with you guys as always. Excited here for a Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday. I just flew in from Austin last night, so I'm a little tired this morning. But Soupy, how are you feeling today, sir?
I'm feeling good. You know why? Because I feel like we're going to win some money today. We don't need Coach. We do love Coach, but we don't need him to make some money today. We're all going to cash some tickets.
We do love Coach. Hopefully he can hop back on here in a few minutes. But Charles, how are you doing this morning, sir?
Morning, Peyton, company. Just fine. Thank you for asking. And a shout out to Coachman. He's not here. Happy 35th birthday. I'm sure he's in a festive mood after the early activities. And then a shout out to D to the G for his sweep. And then Raffy, I thought we were going to get that 5th run last night. Got so close. Had a little 4 outs to get there. Come up a little short, but on to today.
Just a little short. Speaking of last night, that was fun. Angels domination. 4-0 Angels Dodgers, guys. I'm not talking about my record against Sloopy lately. 4-0 Angels are against the Dodgers this season. Last night, worst outing Yamamoto has ever had. And Angels 12 games worse than the Dodgers. We all know that, but hey, it's baseball. That's why we love the game. Raph, come over to you. I'm actually tailing your pick today with the Dodgers. I think I'm going with their team total. A little foreshadowing there, but how you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing well. I wouldn't have played that game because they had notified Ohtani that he was being sued for $240 million before the game. I would have never played that game knowing that he was going to be sued $240 million for something he probably had no idea about.
Brutal. But, yeah, the Dodgers lose again, and what happens? Well, Ohtani homers again. So just another game for LA. But anyway, nice little freeway series last night. Happy to see it continue today and tomorrow. I'm kind of sad I didn't get to go out there. I should have stayed back a couple days at the Big A and caught a game. But, that whatever. We're here. School time. Let's go. Zeno, speaking of let's go, let's get it. Where are you headed today, sir?
Well, I'm going to start with the Baltimore Orioles and take them plus a half run on the first 5 because I'm not a road chalk eating weasel like some people on the show. So I will take the half run here. Yeah, keep looking around. No, look above you, Raf. I saw this sheet here, the road chalk eating weasel that we call Soupy. Dean Kramer has got a 2.95 ERA at home. He's much better. George Kirby's ERA on the road is over a run and a half higher than it is at home. I understand Seattle's one of the highest scoring teams here, but this is one of these games where it's about game script. If the Orioles don't get up early, guess what? They're not coming back on Seattle's bullpen late. So we'll take the half run and put it in our back pocket here, and the tie still gets us a win. And then Cubs Jays over. This is one of these numbers here where if this was 9.5, I'd walk away, but considering I have 9, I'll take it. Jays are the highest scoring team in baseball since July 1st. Cubs are the 5th highest scoring team in baseball this year. Jose Barrios, he ain't that good at home this year. Gives up a lot of runs, but he also gets nearly 6 runs of support per start. Ben Brown stinks all around. His ERA on the road is over 6.5, but he gets over 6.6 runs of support per start here. So we go over 9 between Cubs and Jays.
And one of those, the Mariners Oriole game, actually first pitch of the day, first game of the day. It starts the earliest 5:35 my time, Central Time. Dean Kramer, I was thinking today it was a good strikeouts pick today. Seattle strikes out more than anyone in baseball. So big prize picks guy, I am, me and Sloopy. But yeah, I like Kramer today in the strikeouts category. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on the little Dean Kramer strikeouts? It's like the most popular pick today on prize picks. I don't know if you heard, but sorry.
Soupy.
Oh, I was asking you. Sorry, I was coming back.
So, I mean, when you say prize picks, I default to Soupy. That's the deal, But no, I agree with you. I mean, it's part of the handicap there with the Orioles. Again, Kramer can be good at home. Look, he absolutely can get rocked. It's not past him because he's very erratic at best. But this is a spot here where I think he just, at home, I'm willing to back him. Just certainly not going to do it on the road.
Yeah, 100%. I like the Orioles today. I like your pick. Zeno, let's go over to Sloopy. Good morning, sir. Where are we headed, man?
Yeah, we got a little bit of a matchup going because I'm taking the Mariners -0.5 in the first 5. I don't like Dean Kramer. Yeah, he's solid at home, but he has been rocked over his last few starts. And the Mariners, they're hitting .297 against them. This offense has gotten better when they got Eugenio Suarez. They got Josh Naylor. This offense has gotten even better than what it was before. So I will take the Mariners -0.5 in the first 5. And I'm going with the Yankees on the run line. I am confident in them tonight, even with Carlos Rendon, because they give Rendon support. They've scored 7 runs in 4 of the last 5 starts at home for Rendon. And the Twins, they strike out a lot. In fact, Rendon has a 46% strikeout rate against this Twins lineup. The Twins, they were sellers in the trade deadline, and I think they're going downhill. So I'm going to take the Yankees at -1.5.
How do you say that name again?
Yeah, tell us how you say the name.
Carlos Rendon?
No, Rendon is the one who the Angels paid $8 billion for. But
Rodon. Carlos Rodon. And by the way, eat that chalk.
We have a little showdown here this morning. We got it. We have to do something. We have to have some kind of prize here for the winner and some kind of punishment for the loser. Can we do it for once, guys? Can we come up with something by the end of the show this morning? Something? I mean, I know we had the beard thing last week. Super didn't want to do that.
Whatever.
All right. Let's head over to Big Chuck. Big Chuck, good morning. Yeah, a lot of fun here we're having. Have some fun with your picks, sir. The rain is free. Where are you headed, man?
A little day soccer Champions League qualifiers. We have Club Rouge and Red Bull Salzburg. And the visitors, they come in down a goal. So I'm expecting a more open affair in this one. first go ahead first play the over 2.75 full-time goals. That way, if there's 3, you get half your stake back. Well, you win half your money. 4 or more, you will win full as well. Bruges, they come in averaging 2 team goals at home, while Salzburg, they have scored 3.3 team goals on the road to start the new season. And then the MLB, Marlins, Guardians, winds blowing out tonight, and the total going over in 6 of the Marlins' last 9 and 5 of the Guardians' past 8. Go ahead and give me the over 9 in the land tonight.
If you want to scan this QR code coming up here for Big Chuck, be a part of his side hustle. The man is just an absolute capper. He dominates everything. Scan that QR code, take you right to his site, roicapper.com/store. Thank you very much, Big Chuck. Good morning, sir. Glad that you got a little more soccer pick for you. Nice. Let's go over to Raph. Raph, where are we headed, man?
Going to the National League as our first play. We're going to take the Phillies Reds first 5 under 4.5, laying to -110. The crafty Suarez for Phillies is on the mound, and this is just fading the Reds offense. The Phillies have played the Reds 3 times this year, and the Reds scored a total of 3 runs in those 3 games. They're going to struggle today. Reds' last 5 losses, they're only averaging 1.2 runs per game. So I think the Phillies have a field day. Strikeouts for Suarez, I think that's a good prop as well. So I'll take the under 5, 4.5. And then, hey, ladies, that's right, WNBA action today between Dallas and Indiana. Scoring fest, I believe, in this game. That's why I'm going to take Dallas team total over 81.5, laying the 3 nickels. These 2 teams played 3 times this year. Dallas is averaging almost 83 points a game. I think both teams hit the high 80s today, so I'll take the Dallas team total over 81.5.
Love it. If you're on the West Coast and you get a hey, ladies from Raph, you're up. You're up in the morning, that's for sure, without question. All right, bring to Mark from JTS. Mark, where are we headed, sir?
We are going with the play of the day, starting with LA Sparks, Derica Hamby, to get at least 24 points and rebounds tonight. Hamby is the hub of LA's offense, and she's hit this line in 7 of her last 10, plus 5 straight versus New York, while averaging 26.8 combined over that run. Volume, pace, usage, all point up. Love this spot for her. And then we're going to go to the diamond, where we're going to take Orioles Gunnar Henderson to get at least 1 hit for us tonight. He's been absurdly consistent. 10 of his last 12 games with the hit, 8 of his last 9 at home, where he's averaging 1.4. I love this spot for him to get a knock tonight. Put them both together for a plus 130. Just a Stat Sports play of the day.
Plus 130. Love it. And a little QR code scanning there. Use code BTT30. You can get your first 30 days absolutely free for Mark over at JTS. They've been dominating the model lately. And you know what? Speaking of dominating, how about my picks? Let's go 2 for 2 today. We're going the Dodgers team total over 5.5 at -105 at the Big A tonight. Angels throwing Tyler Anderson, who has a really hard time throwing in Angel Stadium, to say the least. He has an ERA at home of 5.52. They hit 304 as a team against him, the Dodgers. Ohtani 4 for 10 with 3 triples and a homer against Anderson. Freddie 385. Mookie 300. Michael Conforto apparently hits 500 against him. Unfortunately, I think the Dodgers light him up tonight. I think they get 6. Pirates, Brewers, under 7, -113. We're taking the under in this all-star pitching matchup. Paul Skeens against Freddie Peralta. Peralta, as good a pitcher as he is, just a 2.13 ERA at home. Paul Skeens coming off a career worst 7 hits allowed, but he still shut out the Reds. Brewers hitting just 109 against Skeens. Not as many runs in Milwaukee tonight. We're taking the under 7 at -113. And we are taking the under a half on Coach coming back, apparently. We're going to start a little bit this morning. It's 9:14 here Central Time. If you're listening on the West Coast, well, good morning to you. East Coast, 10 a.m. Love it. Well, we are starting on Stadium here on this beautiful Tuesday morning. And you're all watching on Stadium. I'm Peyton Lodge. I'm your new host for the day. You're stuck with me. So we'll be back in 5 seconds. All right.
Right now, can anybody hear me?
I can.
You got me. All right, we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it this way. We're gonna try it this way and see if it works. Hopefully, it gets a little bit better. If everybody can hear me, okay, then we'll do it this way. Raphael, A lot of college football we're talking about at the breaks for the next couple of weeks as we get set for a huge Ohio State matchup in week number 1. But we're talking Clemson. Do we think they've got what it takes to get to the college football playoff? Talk to me, bud.
I do believe so, because this is probably one of the better Clemson teams they have coming back. They have a senior quarterback in Cade Klebnik, who has a big arm. Only threw for, 6 interceptions last year. Had a bad game against Texas, but he's a senior. I think their defense is going to be the reason why they beat LSU. Sorry, Big Chuck. And their defense is going to be the reason why they could be flirting with a perfect record, because their road to record is not that hard this year.
Do we think that because of the SEC not necessarily playing up to what people thought they were going to be last year, that maybe the committee will give a little bit more love to other conferences like the ACC and then maybe like teams like Clemson?
I think Clemson playing LSU first is going to help them with the committee all season long. They still have to play South Carolina as their last game of the season on the road. That could also help because South Carolina is a big flavor of the month for the SEC with that Heisman hopeful QB that they have.
Is Dabo still considered the elite of the elite when it comes to college coaches?
I would say yes, but I love to hire the defensive coordinator. They got Tom Allen, has tons of talent on the defense. I think that's going to put some pressure off Debo. Maybe he can just focus on the offense. I think this defensive coordinator is probably one of the main reasons why, again, they could be flirting with a perfect record the way their schedule plans out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We're gonna do a probably right before week 0. We're gonna start throwing in college football into the mix. Maybe a special show. We're still trying to figure out exactly what our schedule is going to be like, but we're certainly leaning into college football this year, just like NFL. If you're looking for baseball, you might get a little bit of it after the NFL season starts, but don't come to us for a lot. It's going to be all football all the time. We are back live on the Stadium Network in just 5 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the coach here, Coaching Company on Stadium. It's a team effort today, damn it. We'll be back in the friendly confines on August 22nd. We've got 2 PFL events, but we've got headlines every single Tuesday. This is what it's going to look like. We're going to have headlines, the biggest stories coming out of the weekend, mainly NFL, to let my guys kind of break it down. Not even necessarily from a betting perspective, but maybe a little bit. It's coming up in about 15 minutes. We've got a prize fight. Also, we're breaking down the NFC South today. Did you know that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won the division 4 straight years? All right, I need to see Raphael before I bring my guys in for headlines. Rafi, when it comes to stories that came out of the weekend, obviously totals were a big, big story. What do you got today on that?
Yeah, totals went either 14-2, whether book you went to, or adding the Hall of Fame game, 15-2, whatever you go through. So books adjusted. 9 games on the schedule for week 2 preseason. 9 of them have 40-plus totals, and 6 of those games have moved 3 points or higher as the total. So the bettors came in just firing away on totals. I can see an under week 2 type of play because these totals just blew up.
I mean, a preseason game over 40 for a total, you can't do it. Just stay away. It's kind of like going week 1 to week 2. That you get a lot of points in week 1, and then there's regression in week 2. People are like, "Oh, I just lost 7 to 9 games." Well, it happens every single year. Raphael, thank you very much. All right, I need to see my guys, Zeno, Soupy, and Peyton. Guys, let's get into headlines, and let's start right there, Zeno, because this is a crazy number when you're talking 14-2 for the overs in preseason, when we don't even know really how much the starters are going to be playing. Let's start right there. What would be your advice to bettors out there when it comes to totals on week 2 of just a 3-week preseason?
Now, real quick, I will say it's not coincidence. There are a lot more starters playing in week 1 than it has been typically in years past since they moved to the 3-game schedule. So I'm not surprised to see that those numbers are what they are. Now, I would proceed with caution, and I would tell you, if you're going to take an under, take a first half under, because what is going to happen is as teams start to sharpen up a little bit, when they get to the second half, you're going to have position battles going out there, particularly at quarterback, guys fighting for roster spots. There's going to be a lot more variance in the second half with guys wanting to play good and wanting to put up points versus other guys on other rosters who are just not as good. And so if you're going to take an under in week 2, do it in the first half. Now, I hope that the overs keep going, and I hope they keep going through week 3, because what I really want is odds makers to push totals up in week 1. So then when I get a 60-minute football game, I can hammer the absolute under in every single game. Once we start clearing some key numbers at 38, 41, 44, 47, 48, boom, we'll start hitting unders all over the place in week 1. So I hope the trend continues.
Bang those unders. Based off of what Zeno just said, Subi, what do you think?
Yeah, I can't agree anymore. I can't believe that how many starters really were in week 1. We've seen over the last few years that every team is elected not to play their starters till maybe that last game of the season. But what did we see in the first weeks of the regular season? We see players getting hurt. We see inconsistent play. And now coaches are starting to see that and say, like, okay, maybe we do need a little bit of a run. Let's see if that trend continues. I don't know how it'll be in the second week, but I definitely think in the third week, you're going to see starters playing a lot more, possibly a whole third quarter. And let's see how that trends towards the end of the preseason.
Wow, that's an interesting take because normally in a 4-week preseason, starters don't even see the field in the 4th week. But third week, we'll see. We'll see if you're correct. Peyton, what do you think?
I was shocked to see Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase out there. I mean, we're not talking about Bryce Young or something, guys who are young and experimenting these things. No, this is Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, guys that you paid a ton of money to. And, obviously I wish nothing upon anybody, but one hit or something and boom, your season's over. I'm just shocked of what the Bengals were doing, specifically the Bengals, because those are your 2 franchise players out there playing. And of course, though, if they're on the field, you're going to score more points. So they were out there throwing the ball around and hitting overs like crazy. But I think another big factor of it, Coach, is teams experimenting, going for it on like 4th down, and that could turn into 7 points sometimes versus just punting the football.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's going to be interesting. Clearly, the teams think it's worth the gamble to be ready for week 1. Topic number 2, and gentlemen, we knew this was coming. When the Kelce signed a $100 million deal for their podcast, at some point you had to know that the boo Taylor Swift would show up. Last night, they dropped a 13-second teaser for her first appearance on the New Heights podcast. It got over 10 million views in 30 minutes. Now, she's using it to roll out her next studio album, TS12, she is calling it. Zeno, does it shock you that T Swift is finally showing up with T Kelce on his podcast?
You're asking the wrong person. I could care less about what these 2 people do with their personal time. I have absolutely zero interest. I mean, I'm sorry. It's not my thing. I don't care. Not a fan of the Chiefs. Hope they lose. Don't listen to Taylor Swift. Don't wish anything bad for either one of them. I just don't care what they do. I really don't. It's not my cup of tea, period. So I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to tune in. Sorry. I have better things to do in my life.
Way to keep it positive for the show. Thank you, Zeno. Soupy, what about you?
I understand why they're doing it because, again, the Kelce's getting $100 million, but I'm thinking this is going to be all sizzle and no steak. Unless we get a marriage announcement, I don't think we're going to get anything that's headline worthy. Publicists and managers are going to be all over this saying, these are the following things you can't talk about. It's going to be anything that we will be interested in. Maybe I'll check out clips, but I don't think I'm going to watch the whole interview of this because I don't think it'll be entertaining.
Oh, see? We went out to go check out what the Kelce's and Swiss were doing.
Who has better jokes? Who said I love you first? No, I just won't be listening to this podcast either, guys. I'm too busy rearranging my socks drawer in my dorm room. But 10 million views, that doesn't surprise me either because you look at Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's got 280 million Instagram followers. So, side note, she follows 0 people. So, I mean, is that donut like that important to you that you can't even follow your boyfriend? Like, what are we doing?
Well, it's super smart on both sides of it if you're looking at it because the Kelce's need a little bump because whoever's paying them $33 million a year, they need those downloads to get that money back. This is definitely going to do that. And then for T Swift, why not roll out your new studio album with your boo? So smart on both sides of the fence. Now, coming out of the weekend, the biggest storyline coming out of the NFL undoubtedly was the play of Shadir Sanders and then also confronting a Cleveland plain dealer rider in the bowels of the stadium. But are we surprised, Zeno, at the performance and how good he looked in preseason game number 1?
Surprise, no. Do I think we're making too much of it? Yes. I mean, in reality, he would have never played that long if Cleveland had healthy starting quarterbacks ahead of him on the depth chart that were there. That's what this is. They had to sign Tyler Huntley, for crying out loud, to go be a camp body just in case something happened. So let's pump the brakes a little bit on Shador. I didn't say he played bad. I'm not saying he won't be a good quarterback. I don't know if he's going to get the starting job. It was a good first performance. There's a lot of preseason left. Let's build on it from there. I don't think there's any reason to get all that excited yet.
Subi.
Everything that I saw from Shador is things that I have seen him at Colorado. He's very poised in the pocket. He's accurate. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football history, 71% completion rate. He did great with his read progression. He bailed out with the checkdowns, didn't try to throw it into coverage too much. He did everything he needed to do. Now we're going to see how Dylan Gabriel does, Pickett, and Flacco. Do I think he has the chance for the starting job? I still think it's up in the air, but he did a great job to at least be the front runner at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be Flacco. I mean, I don't know. It could be Flacco, but think about it. Flacco, Gabriel, Huntley, Sanders. It's very possible Shedeur Sanders could be this starter for the Browns team. So nothing really to overlook. And he looked great in his first start in that Browns uniform. But I want to make sure one thing real quick. Everyone's got to be rooting for this guy because in these post-games press conferences, it's not a Bronny situation. His responses are so likable. I mean, like just last week, we were talking about how much we loved how he doesn't want his dad around yet because he hasn't proved anything. And after the first preseason game, played great. And he just said after that game, he said it was about getting comfortable. And he still said he didn't think he played up to par, which we all love to hear no matter how good he was. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say I'm really rooting for Shedeur Sanders.
I'm rooting for him too. I think it's going to be a good story. I like good, positive stories, especially when we're heading into the NFL. There's plenty of negative. I'm tired of negative. I want positive. I think this could be a good, positive story. Who knows? I mean, there's been a sixth round that's been really good before. He's not Tom Brady, but we've seen it before. All right. History being made, gentlemen, in Austin, Texas. The Texas Longhorns with Archie Manning finally taking over the reins of the new preseason, first time ever, number one team in the country. Also,
the cliffhanger.
Will be an underdog.
Oh, you're back. Sorry, Coach, we lost you.
I'm back. Sorry. Oh, God, this is driving me insane. There'll be an underdog preseason number one to Ohio State. Are we shocked and surprised, Zeno?
No, we're not shocked and surprised that Texas is the number one team in the country. I mean, they were in the Final Four last year, and they return what is the prohibitive Heisman favorite to be their quarterback. I mean, if Ohio State was returning the same quarterback and Will Howard again, they would be the number one team in the nation. That's really been the biggest thing that has shuffled it around for them. So I think all this is co-joined. The only thing I would tell you is that being the preseason number one usually is the kiss of death because save the 2017 Crimson Tide, I don't think anybody in the last 10 years has been a preseason number one has won the national title. So doesn't mean Texas can't have a good year, but usually this is a harbinger of not winning the national championship.
Subi.
Yeah, I understand why Ohio State is the favorite. They are the defending national champions. They still got a lot of great pieces. That defense is still intact, and they don't have Will Howard anymore, but they got Julian Sang, who was the number one quarterback recruit in 2023, the number one recruit in the transfer portal last year. Strong arm, very accurate. I'm still confident, though. I've had Texas as my number one team. I have Archie Manning as my Heisman favorite and my number one ranked quarterback. So I love Texas in this game, period.
Young Peyton, what do you think?
Well, guys, the question was, are we surprised they're underdogs in week one as the number one seed? And clearly, Arch Manning and his Longhorns are the road dogs because of the location. This matchup takes place inside the shoe in Columbus, and that's why Texas is the slight dog. Buckeyes were 7-1 at home last year. Only loss was to Michigan in that fluke of a game. They were 6-0 at home 2 years ago. Ohio State 7-1 at home 3 years ago. Only lost to Michigan. It's pretty simple. Only Ohio State loses at home to Michigan, but they beat everybody else there. But now that Will Howard is backing up Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be either
Peyton, you got to look at your clock, big boy. All right, we're back. We're halfway home. Coach and Company here on Stadium. 25.
Coach, Miami's still a real college football playoff threat. They're sitting just behind Clemson. Okay, full disclosure. And that is the pecking order in the ACC. Clemson, then Miami. Miami has a higher ceiling this year, though, even without Cam Ward here. They were able to land Carson Beck from the portal, and Beck slides into this Miami offense from Georgia with a big game resume already under his belt. At Georgia, he was 24-3 as a starter, had over 8,000 passing yards, 63 touchdowns, and 9 wins over top 25 teams. He's smooth, layered, and the only issue with Beck is he's got to trim those risky throws, keep him out of trouble. As long as he can do that, I think Miami is set to really make a push.
He needs more than that. He had his car stolen right when he came down there. So we'll see if that he broke up with his girlfriend who was super popular. He had his car stolen. So we'll see if that has. Are you worried about him driving a new car on campus?
Kind of with his NIL money? Come on, who's worried about that? I'm sure he'll find something accommodating for him. But yeah, I would circle game 1 against Notre Dame. And then against Florida on September 20th, if they can split or sweep, Miami really puts themselves into a position for an at-large bid for the playoffs. If they can actually win the ACC, obviously it's an automatic bid.
All right, very good. I'm going to make an executive decision because it's all about the fans. It's not about me. Peyton, you're going to take over the C's. You'll do prize fight. You'll do the NFC South. Let's go. A lot of energy. Keep it positive. Everybody tunes in for that. I'm going to cut myself out and go down and absolutely destroy this hotel. The nicer the hotel, apparently the worse the Wi-Fi. So we'll be back at the bottom of the hour in about 25 seconds. Peyton, you can take us over, do prize fight, and then right into the NFC South. Thank you guys very much for tuning in every single day. This happens, but we'll be back by the NFL season back home. We'll have no Wi-Fi issues whatsoever. I'm going to dip out. Peyton, take over in just 5 seconds.
You heard the man. We're doing prize fight first. Not to mention anybody's record lately on the prize fight, but let's get that little transition in, producer man, because it's time for a little prize. A tough one. Another video was sent in, unfortunately, on my behalf. Now, we're going to switch things up. I promised you in the video, we're going to allow you to go first. So you go right ahead, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it because we want to get these winning picks in first.
Oh.
I'm starting with Spencer Strider, more than 6.5 strikeouts. He has had 8 strikeouts against the Mets in his last 2 starts, and he's had 7 or more strikeouts in 7 of his last 10 starts. I feel confident in him against the Mets tonight, who have been struggling lately. I'll take Gunnar Henderson, 1.5 total bases. He has been red hot as of late. He's hit this in 4 of his last 6 home games, and he's 6 for 13 against George Kirby. I like him tonight. And then Randall Grichuk, someone who I don't like, is he has been struggling since he came to Kansas City. He's hitting just 222, and he's a career 1 for 5 against Washington's Mitchell Parker.
Love it, Soupy. You mentioned Gunnar Henderson was on fire. You know who else is on fire? Me. We're going to go with Nestor Cortez. Less than 4.5 strikeouts. First, we're starting off with Nasty Nestor. He's not that nasty anymore, though. Struck out just 3 guys in his first start back since April 3rd. And tonight, he's got to go up against the Giants, who don't strike out very often. He can go right ahead and get 4, but he's not hitting 5. We're taking him less than 4.5. Next, my demon pick is going to be Ranger Suarez, more than 1.5 walks. This season, he's never went 3 games straight without walking somebody. He's coming off back-to-back starts without a walk. He'll walk some guys tonight. The Reds are a top 10 walk rate team. I like Ranger to walk at least 2 tonight. And we have to take Corey Seager, more than 1.5 total bases. Seager's 5 for 9 against Anthony Desclafani with a homer. Also, his home and away splits and his day and night splits are really favorable for tonight. 288 in night games versus just 208 in day games, and 286 at home versus just 244 on the road. Hashtag, do you want to do the work? No, Sloopy, you don't. So many good reasons to take Corey Seager tonight, and we're going to make that 4 in a row for your boy this week. And man, we love doing the prize fight, Sloopy, don't we? Any last words before you get beat again this week?
Body training my daughter the last couple days, and your lineup is the worst thing I've seen.
That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad, actually. Okay. We got to switch over. We got to get out of here. All right. We're going to go over to betting the futures. We're talking a little NFC South. Producer man, time to bet the future. God, it's a beautiful transition. Well, right after week 1, guys, one of these top two teams in this division will have to start out 0-1 because we start the year with the Bucks in Atlanta against the Falcons. So, Zeno, I'm going to come over to you first. Who do you have winning this division? Because right now, everyone is at plus money. Who are we going with?
I mean, I lean on the Buccaneers just because the quarterback play from every other team in this division is so much in favor of Tampa Bay. But Baker Mayfield will be a top 5 quarterback again in terms of production this year. He may lead a league in passing again, throw for another 40 touchdowns. He's got weapons all over the field from a receiver standpoint. Tampa Bay has the best front seven, one of the best front sevens in all of football. Their only true weak spot is their secondary. So they are a pretty complete team and they're well coached. I think they win the division. However, I would tell you that the Falcons plus 155, 160 to make the postseason is also a worthwhile bet.
Yeah, for sure. And Sloopy, I'm going to come over to you. It seems like a very top-heavy division, another one at least. It seems like we're going through a lot of these divisions that are very top-heavy. Just 2 of these teams that are kind of battling it out. I know there's been some positivity out of Carolina lately, but who do you have out of these 2 Buccaneers and Falcons?
When I'm looking at those teams, I'm looking at the Buccaneers. I think they're the most consistent team. I do think they have the best offense. I think quarterback, wide receiver play they favor. The only thing that I don't think they favor is the running back position because Bijan Robinson is the best running back in that division, but in the league. And I even like Emeka Egbuka coming out of Ohio State. He's going to sort of take over for Chris Godwin, who may not start this season. He's dealing with that ankle injury and an off-season foot surgery. But I'm looking at overs because I'm looking at each defense. Each defense has holes. Each defense has problems. So what I think when these interdivision matchups come, I'm going to be eyeing the overs.
Seems like defense kind of comes to a huge play. Both these teams have phenomenal offenses, Big Chuck. Buccaneers have one heck of a passing game. That's for sure. They were 4th in the league last year in passing yards, and the Falcons were a top 5 team as well. So, Big Chuck, what do you like between these 2 teams? Because you're more of a dog guy. You know, I've seen like you kind of go with the underdogs lately. Who do you got?
Exactly. And I'm kind of liking the old Dirty Birds at plus 220 in this one. And I was surprised to see their win total only at 7.5 or 8.5 at plus money. I definitely think they can get that just based off their schedule. The Bucks have the harder schedule of the 2. They get the Texans, Eagles, 49ers, Lions, Rams, Bills, while the Falcons, they get the likes of the Colts, the Jets, Saints, twice, Cardinals, Seahawks. So I think a little bit easier path for the Falcons to get to 8 wins or more and to win this division.
Yeah, and Zeno, when you look at the Buccaneers, you have a new offensive coordinator, Josh Grizzard, and that might have people thinking, oh, it might take time for the Buccaneers to adjust. But this is the 8th season in a row that Baker Mayfield has himself a new offensive coordinator. And the fact that last year is 7th in a row with Liam Cohen, and who goes to the Jaguars to be their next head coach. By the way, good luck with that, big fella. But and he still throws. Baker Mayfield still throws for 4,500 yards, 3rd most in the NFL, top 5 in completion percentage last year, all while learning new things. How much credit can you give Baker Mayfield for what he's done in a Bucs uniform?
He gets all of it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's transformed himself from the guy he was in Cleveland, the guy he was in Carolina, the guy he was in Los Angeles into a really viable starting quarterback and the top 10 quarterback in this league. I mean, he sort of validated the idea of why he was the number 1 overall draft pick because the guy can play. Unfortunately, what was between his ears got in the way for the first couple of years of his career, as did his ego. But now that he's been humbled a little bit, he's a much different player. And even without Chris Godwin, maybe to start the season, although I think Soupy reports say that, he's expected to be ready for week 1, even without the delay. When they didn't have him for half the season last year, they figured out a way. And don't forget, they got 2 really viable tight ends there as well. I mean, Baker Mayfield has done an amazing job at spreading the ball around and putting points up on the board for his team. So it's really kind of, for somebody who's dead wrong on him, we thought he was a waste and a bum and everything else after a couple of years, he's resurrected his career and deserves all the credit.
You brought up a good point. Kind of an eye guy coming out of college, though, and his first couple of years in the league, and he's kind of just taken the back seat of the media, at least, and has just worked on his game tremendously, and he's been doing a great job. And Soupy, a guy that really seems like the opposite of that is Michael Penix Jr., who the Falcons brought in, and towards the end of last season, pitched very well, or played very well. And you got Bijan Robinson there as well, and Bijan, because an interview recently because a lot of people say Bijan. It's Bijan. Yeah, whatever. That was kind of funny. But offensively, these guys are okay with their second-year quarterback Penix. I like the Falcons this year at plus 220. Where do you like them?
I do like the Falcons too. I think Penix Jr., he's got a very accurate arm, very strong arm too. I think that's going to work out well with Drake London. The one thing that he adds, he has a little bit of mobility. He's not going to take off. He's not going to run, but he's better than what Kirk Cousins is, that he can't move 2 feet in front of him. I like that. And then Robinson with Algier, that is a great running back duo right there. And I don't think anybody's talking about Tyler Algier. He can hit that gut for a third down conversion at the goal line. So they've got a lot of just ways that they can hit you. And look at Darnell Mooney too. I mean, he was not expected to be anything last year, but he almost had 1,000 yards receiving. I think they have a great tandem. I think they're potentially a playoff team. I don't think they take over the Buccaneers, but I think they are a playoff team.
The Falcons' defense needs to improve if they want to win the division, clearly. And they brought in Leonard Floyd, who doesn't really do it for me, but they drafted 2 defensive ends in the first round, Jalen Walker from Georgia, James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee. So they're going all in on their defense. And what makes it huge, Big Chuck, is it shows, they get 2 guys in the first round, and it makes sense because on the offensive side of things, you're okay in Atlanta. We just named who they have, Soupy mentioned. So what do you think about the Falcons defensively and how important that is for them to win this division?
Not only did the Falcons get on the defensive line, they went in I think they got a cornerback and a safety out of Notre Dame. Also, I can't recall the other one. So they went all in on the defense, and that was some glaring holes last season. No matter how many points the offense put up, the defense couldn't hold anyone. I think that was with a defensive-minded coach. I think that's really where they wanted to look at. So yeah, I definitely like the Falcons and what they're doing on the defensive end.
Yeah, without question. And I mentioned a little earlier, there's been some optimism in Carolina in the number 3 spot here. And Bryce Young had a nice little ending of the season, which is adorable. They get Rico Dowdle, who seemed to run the ball every play for the Cowboys last year. They drafted a nice wide receiver in the first round. Adam Thielen's still going to be solid. What do you think about the Panthers coming up this season?
I expect them to play well. I expect them to contend in this division. I mean, Bryce Young turned a corner. Ted McMillan's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year from where I sit. He is unguardable, and his size is everything that Bryce Young needs. They finally get a running game. If the defense can get fixed for Carolina and Bryce Young doesn't have to play catch-up the entire time, they're going to surprise some teams. I don't think they are a 3 or 4 win team. They might win 6 or 7 games, particularly within the division. And, I think more than anything, when you look across the board in this division, the coaching is suspect everywhere. And that's that with the exception of Todd Bowles, and I don't really know how good of a coach that he is. I mean, when you're getting quarterback play at the level that Baker Mayfield's giving it to you, it solves a lot of problems. But Raheem Morris and the Falcons coaching staff have a billion questions. So do Dave Canales, who I think probably is the best offensive coordinator, the best offensive mind in the division. And then you have Kellen Moore, who's going to deal with some sort of quarterback issue between Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shook. So when push comes to shove here, that may be the difference for Carolina, that they have Dave Canales, who may be one of the best offensive mind in the division.
Yeah, well, and we will continue this conversation right here on the break.
Hey, I'm Zach, and this is Deemer Box. What is a Deemer Box? A Deemer Box is a rugged portable speaker It's a vault to hold all your things, keep them dry and safe, and it's a charger. You know, you're looking at 40 hours of playtime. So we charge this thing maybe once a week when we're traveling and adventuring. There's volume controls on the outside of the box here, so you can turn it up and down. If you have your phone inside there charging, it's nice and safe and dry. All right, so we're gonna hook the Deemer box to our phone. I'm gonna show you some tricks. You just hit the button on the front. You've got the battery gauge here. That lets you know how full your battery is. You got volume here as well. So you just turn it on, go to your Bluetooth, Deemer box DV2, and it says when it's paired. Yep. And so inside the lid, if you're just jamming tunes and you're not around water or anything like that, you can leave this open. But if you're going into a wet or muddy, snowy environment, inside the lid right here is a plug. You undo this plug, it pops out, put it right in the top right here, give it a few turns, turn it on. Now you've got a waterproof speaker box. Now you can play it for the whales. I think there's a use for each individual person. The Deemer box, like this is mine with all my stickers, my things on it. You can kind of make them your own. That's part of the love of them. I have a connection with these because it's like a good belt or like a good pair of boots. You can cater your lifestyle to your Deemer box, but there's no other speaker that charges your things and holds all your stuff, keeps it dry and safe. That's what sets this apart. So I'd recommend y'all trying a Deemer box and bring it because it's so much more than a speaker.
Oh man, the Deemer box? Are you kidding? I know Zeno was talking about it all summer, how much he loved his Deemer box, playing it for the whales. Oh man. Well, you can use Coach10, that's your code at deemerbox.com to get a little discount on your first Deemer box. We'll be right back on Stadium. All right, we are right back here on a nice little Tuesday morning. We're making the most of it. Coach isn't here, but we're having some fun. And we're going to continue our NFC North conversation here. I lied. I said we were going to talk about it during the break. No, we'll talk about it right when we come back. We're right back where we are. Zeno's got his Panthers shirt on, and we are going with a little Panther talk because he's very optimistic about the Panthers this year. Sloopy, how about you? Because real quick, for some reason, it seems like Adam Thielen's always rostered on the worst fantasy team in the league. Whoever's in my fantasy league, they always have Adam Thielen rostered, which is kind of funny. I don't know.
I love Adam Thielen, man. He we kind of left him for dead after he left for Minnesota, and he's just been consistent with Carolina. He's a good player. I think he's going to be a good second option because it's Ted McMillan, who is the top wide receiver in this league. And I agree with Zeno that he is a potential rookie offensive player of the year candidate. The guy is amazing. And I think he fits good with Young because Young is not a deep passer. McMillan, he's a good route runner. He can do the shorter routes and he gets the yards after the catch. So he could turn it into a big play. I think that works well with Young. They just need to take it slow. He doesn't need to do the big throws. Let Chuba Hubbard do his thing, and I think this could be a solid offense. I still don't like the defense. This was the worst run defense. They made some moves in the offseason to try to make it better. I still don't think this defense is going to be any good, so I think it needs to be their offense that carries them.
It's a good point you brought up with the defense. And Charles, we were talking about defensively on the Falcons side of things, but with the Panthers, it was brutal last year. I think they gave up the most rushing yards in football. What do you think about the Panthers and what kind of adjustments they've made this season to improve for this coming season?
I like the Panthers. I think they've got just a little bit better. I remember last season they got Leggett, so they got their possession receiver. Then Jimmy Horn Jr. also a little speedster to help with the offense. I was looking at the schedule. They had them at 6.5 wins. I definitely think they can at least get to 8. You know, the Jags, Cardinals, Saints twice, Dolphins, Cowboys, Seahawks. They probably split with the Bucks and the Falcons. I think they're going to be competitive, especially at home.
Yeah, man. Can you take alternate wins, like an alternate win total if you wanted to preseason, so you could get the 7.5 and get plus money on that if you like the Panthers to get 8 wins if they're at 6.5?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, let's move over to the Saints for a second. We got a couple minutes here. God help them. They haven't been able to gain any footing since Drew Brees left Zeno. And yeah, for fantasy rostering, go grab yourself Alvin Kamara. Why not? But the Saints are in trouble this year. What do you think?
Well, they certainly have an uphill battle. Their defense is one of the older defenses in the league, and that's going to present a problem from an injury standpoint and just a player standpoint. I think Tyler Shook eventually wins a starting job here when it's all said and done. I think we know the ceiling for Spencer Rattler and Jake Hayner is not an NFL quarterback, so that leaves Shook to handle this whole thing. And Kellen Moore certainly will have challenges on the offensive side of the ball. But again, if the defense can somehow keep the team in games and not force it to be Tyler Shook dropping back 35 times every single week, the Saints may have a shot to win some games. They'll win a couple of division games. I don't think they'll end up winning this in the division because that's the way this division always goes. But it's not going to be a fun ride for the Saints this year.
Probably not. And it seems like Alvin Kamara is always involved in every play, Soupy. And so when you look at a guy like that, what kind of tier is he in the fantasy realm of things right now?
The problem with Kamara, he's really not necessarily a running back anymore. He's more of a slot receiver. He did well with his receiving game last year. I think last season he was under 3 yards per carry. So he doesn't have that aspect anymore. I think what's going to help Shook or Hayner, or rather whoever starts, is they do have some explosive pieces. Chris Olave is one of could potentially be a top receiver if he has a competent quarterback get him the ball. Rashid Shaheed is an explosive vertical wide receiver. There's some pieces there that can help them move the ball, but they just need a guy who can get it to him, and I don't necessarily think they have it anywhere.
Yeah, but if you don't have a guy that can get it to him, you could hit guys in the flat like Kamara or in the slot as well. And so when you look at a PPR league or points per reception league, that could be a good guy to roster in your running back spot without question. And Big Chuck, I'm going to come over to you. What are your thoughts on the Saints this year?
My beloved Saints are going to have a tough year. It looks like they're trying to tank for Arch Manning. Unfortunately, Arch may not even come out, so their plan could just go up in smoke. They're building. They got a good offensive line. I think everyone on the offensive line is a first rounder, so they're definitely building up a good offensive line. It's pretty much the best thing I can say. They projected they're giving them 4.5 wins at -150. I saw Giants, maybe Titans, Seattle Jets. Maybe they get the Carolina. Maybe they can get the 5 wins. Other than that, it's going to be a long season.
Yeah.
Peyton,
real quick.
I want to take the Saints. Take them 7-1 to have the fewest wins in the NFL. That's a better bet.
I like that. That's a good bet. And that's a good way to put a wrap on the NFC South there. It looks like we all got the Bucks in that. We're going to move over to lock it in because you guys weren't here at the top of the hour. So let's get it. Let's lock these picks in. All right, Zeno, let's start with you, my friend.
Orioles, first 5 plus a half run. Dean Kramer starting at home. Sub-3 ERA at home against George Kirby. His ERA is pushing 5, over a run and a half higher than his home ERA. Orioles should be able to get to him. We'll keep the half run in our pocket if we need it. Cubs, Jays over. Jays highest scoring team in baseball since July 1st. Cubs third highest scoring team all year long. Both of these pitchers in Ben Brown and Jose Barrios get more than 5.9 runs per start. We go over 9 in this one.
All right, Big Chuck.
Day soccer, Champions League qualifier, Club Brugge and the Red Bull Salzburg. I'm expecting a wide open affair in this one. The over 2.75 full-time goals. Bruges averaging 2 at home and Salzburg 3.3 on the road. To start the new season, then a little MLB nightcap, Marlins Guardians, with the wind blowing out and the total going over in 6 of the Marlins last 9 and 5 of Cleveland's past 8. I'll go ahead and ride the over 9 in the land.
So Loopy.
Mariners -0.5 in the first 5. They're hitting .297 against Dean Kramer, and he's allowed 4 more runs in 2 of his last 3 starts. I'm going to take the Yankees on the run line. They have won 6 of the last 7 home starts for Carlos Rodon, and they've scored 7 runs or more in 3 of his last 4 starts at home.
Love it. Big ref.
I'm going to take Phillies Reds first 5 under 4.5. Crafty lefty Suarez is on the mound for the Phillies. He's going to mow down the Reds with their 5 losses. The Reds have only averaging 1.2 runs per game, so I think the Phillies have an easy victory. And then, hey, ladies, that's right, WNBA, 2 games on the board. We found 1 gem. Give me Dallas team total over 81.5, laying the 3 nickels. This total just moved a full point. We'll see this total close around 173, 81.5 right now.
Love it. Mark from JTS. What's our JTS play of the day?
We're going to start with another WNBA gem, and we're going to go with Derica Hamby of the LA Sparks to get at least 24 points and rebounds tonight. She's the hub of this LA offense, and she's hit this in 7 of her last 10. 5 straight versus New York, where she's averaging almost 27 combined over that stretch. We're going to pair that with Baltimore Orioles' Gunnar Henderson to get a hit tonight. He's been absolutely consistent. Got a hit in 10 of his last 12 games, 8 of his last 9 at home, where he's averaging 1.4 hits a game. Love this spot for him as well. Put them both together for a plus 130. Just a Stat Sports play of the day.
Love it, Mark. Use code BTT30. You get your first 30 days absolutely free from JTS. Boy, do we love our partnership with them. And producer man, real quick. Oh, yeah. Man, look at him. He's already right on it. Raph, where we headed, man?
We're going to back-to-back wins and insiders. We had no problem with the Fathers yesterday. We're going to Toronto Blue Jays have won 13 out of the last 16 home games. Toronto's a perfect 6-0 against NL Central teams.
Oh, man, 6-0. The Blue Jays are playing some really good ball. I went to the Dodger game, Blue Jays-Dodgers the other day, and that didn't go well for them. I think they lost 9-0 or something like that. And of course, Ohtani homered, which is always rough to see as an Angel fan in the stands. I don't know. Just brutal. A little news came out on Ohtani, though. The Dodgers, Ohtani, and his agent sued over claims that they sabotaged a $240 million Hawaii real estate project. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. What are we doing? All right. Producer man, it's time. We got through it. We did it. I hope Coach is proud that we got through this show. And I know we have a nice little post-production meeting after this one. For Mark and Mark, for Raph, for Soupy, and for Big Chuck, and for Producer Man. You guys have a great day.